100% right. I mean, that Rangers team to me looked as if we've got through in Europe. We're all right. We've got a good start here. We're going to rock up here today. Good pitch. We're not going to have to run as hard as what we have. Russell Martin's spoken about, his teammate running hard time after time after time. That wasn't the case today, and I'm sure he'll be very, very, very unhappy.
Well, we can find out because he is with Luke Shanley.
Russell, what was your thoughts on the match in the end?
I think we were lucky to get a point. So I think Motherwell played great. We were nowhere near where we need to be, and I'm extremely disappointed and hurt by that. They were braver than us, they were more aggressive than us, and I've said to the players, I've been really honest with them, and I said I'd be really honest with you guys because it's what the supporters of this football club deserve. And there is a default here at this football club, and it's not one person's fault at all. The default is to revert to type, which is when it's going really well, everyone's all in, it's really good. When it's not going well, you protect yourself a little bit, and the self-preservation stuff. So you can't play for this club and enjoy the really good moments, and when it gets tough, like, I'm not sure. You have to be all in all the time, and we had two men on the pitch today that want to do what they want to do. So if you are playing with real intensity and courage in your position that we coach you in, no problem. When you want to just jog around and do what you want to do, there's a big problem. So some of them have to drop their ego. I will look at us tactically and accept my responsibility in it. But today, it's not really tactical, it's a mentality problem. And we got more than what we deserved, actually.
That's not a new thing, so how do you stamp that out then?
Well, we work out who really wants to be all in and who doesn't. So Lyle Cameron comes in, did great because he listens and he wants to run really hard for the team. And I said to some of the guys in there, Cyriel is the only one that we've actually had a bid for and interest in, and he comes on and he runs so hard on Wednesday night and today. So some of them need to have a look at him and set that example. So there will be people left behind. If they don't want to come, they don't want to come. They'll be left behind because they need to understand really what playing for this football club will take and what it means, and not just when it's having a nice time.
Did that surprise you today, or what are you in a way?
I think the European game speaks for itself. So they find a way to get themselves up for it. Hopefully it's down to a bit of information as well. And then today, the lethargy and all that stuff is not acceptable. So I'm surprised by that, but I'm more angry than surprised.
Could use Europe as an excuse, but given the fans were frustrated as well, does that show the standard then? Does that show that's required?
I know what we're coming into, and I understand the fans' frustration. Listen, we are only one game in, and it is a work in progress and all that stuff, but we need to work out quickly who really wants to listen, who will really fight, who will really run when the going gets tough. But Europe is not an excuse. This club demands to play in Europe. We've qualified for that, so we're going to be playing in Europe a lot, and we're going to have games after the European games a lot, and we have to manage them way better than today.
Given that then, does that mean that you need to accelerate plans to bring new blood into the squad?
Yeah, we need some help for sure. I don't think that's changed. Also, we need to try and maximise what we have in the building. We haven't had a huge amount of games. Some of them played their first 90 minutes on Wednesday, but we have to work out quickly who really wants to play properly in the way that we want to.
Just finally, Oliver Antman, is that coming to a positive conclusion?
I think it's the same as any other player that I've said to you guys from day one. Once they're in the building, we'll talk about him. Until then, he's probably on a long list of players that we quite like.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you. Cheers, buddy.
Not holding back. Your thoughts?
Rightly so. I think for a long period of time there's a lot of Rangers managers come out and sugar-coated a lot of things. I think when you listen to Russell Martin, he is speaking there, he's annoyed. Could you have seen it coming? Possibly. I think when you look at the two European performances, and I know the main aim for the club was to get through, they've been able to do that, but the performances were okay. I mean, that was it, okay at best. But you still expect, that was against a far better opposition than what Rangers are facing here today, and you expect them to come to Motherwell and run over the top of them. They've had more games. They are better players, let's not be kidded. They are better players. There's a reason why they're at Rangers Football Club, but they're underperforming. And for so many starts to the season, it's been an issue. Far too many times.
That was a machine gunning. That some of the players need to drop their egos. I mean, is there a danger though when you come out? I know which way I'm on this. Is there a danger when you come out this early that he'll lose players in there then?
No,
you might lose them. But if the ones he loses are the ones that don't drop their ego.
If you've been called out like that, what are you doing?
You've got to recover, haven't you?
Correct.
And
so now the challenge has been thrown down the Rangers.
This has been an age-old problem with
100%.
Rangers. Losing mentality, and he's gone early. Is he right to do that? I think, on balance, he probably is.
I think the three of us agree on that. We agree on that because it's a challenge. It's a challenge to the players, and like I said, the ones that are offended by it are the ones he's talking to.
I think the other thing is as well to touch on, and there might be players swaggering about thinking, "Oh, I'm at a level now and I've done really well." For Russell Martin to come out and say that there's only been one bid received from the football club from Cyriel Dessers, a lot of them better drop their ego, because it might not be the level that they think they're at.
But then does he? I mean, he spoke about Cyriel coming on and running. Why doesn't he start him then?
Because because of what we're going back to.
But he has to.
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, I agree with you, but I wouldn't be surprised. Well, we now know that there was a bid there. You know, and we all know when you get to that stage of when Cyriel Dessers gets to that, he knows what's going on. He knows, and you don't give it your all on a football pitch. You've got a big move.
A guy that's going to leave as well, you're trying to plan without him because you know you're potentially not going to have him, and giving an opportunity to other players. And then you've got a guy that looks like he's going to be out the door, coming on and being singled out for his attitude being spot on because he's wanting to come on and run and show everyone else how to do it.
Let's not be kidded as well. Danilo arrived at this football club cost over £5 million as well. He should be doing a lot better. And yes, he's had these injuries, but I don't see it. I do not see it. And I'll say, I look at Rangers right now. There was a lack of physicality. There is a severe lack of pace in that team, and it needs addressed.
But you only have to, when Russell Martin talks about players not running, you only have to look at the Motherwell goal.
100%.
You only have to look at Kieran Dowell, how weak he was. I mean, powered above, couple of occasions here, 3 minutes to go. You got to bust a gut. You got to. I mean, my old manager Martin O'Neill, big on seeing it through. It's incredible how Longalo actually gets in there. Look at Dowell's reaction. He just stands there. He isn't bothered. Shot comes in, doesn't react. You know, he should be further in and defending that. Anyway, when the ball drops, ready to clear it, he just can't be bothered. That's all that is. That's so unacceptable.
I agree 100%, but when you look at the changes that Russell Martin has made, and he might look back and think to himself, maybe I should have changed Dowell as well. Left one of the midfield three on, because, look, I mean, the three of them are in there. You can put yourself in a position to control those areas. I think when you're the wide ones, you're asked to get up and down, you're asked to track back. And Kieran Dowell played a large part of Rangers'
Longelo's lying on the ground for a good couple of seconds there.
But incredible.
And still no one's near him.
But the thing is, you're playing with Rangers Football Club. There is a pressure, there's a demand that you win games of football, and you need to find a way to do it. There's been far, far too long. And I think Russell Martin made the point there. The European games, the Celtic games are fine for these players to get up for. And the last thing that Rangers need is these new players coming in and then falling into the same culture that's been here for a long period of time. I think that's why he's had to go today, and rightly so.
It's not the first time he's had to go, though, because he did have a similar, not quite so extreme, go at the players' attitudes in the friendly against Middlesbrough. And it almost feels, or do you think it's a bit like Russell Martin is putting his stock out very, very early to say to his players, you will not dictate my future here. I'm in charge. Is there an element of that? And putting this, he did say he would look at himself and tactically how he set the team up, but in terms of putting it on the players and how they carried the game plan out today, is that an element of Russell Martin saying this is not, this is on the players today? Well,
look, first of all, he understands the culture up here. He understands that he has to win. You know, he's gone very early with this, but it's a bit desperate. First game of the season, you know, just sort of easing himself in to absolutely machine gun the dressing room in the way that he did.
Well, I think in terms of when you look at Kasama came in for Finlay Curtis, and that was only changed from during the week. A team that has had a lot of plaudits, you know, we can't get away from, you know, getting through. Might not have been the best, but you found a way to get through in Europe. That was the only change. And if you'd have said to the majority of Rangers fans rocking up here today, who would you rather have starting that left-hand side? I bet every single one of them would have said Kasama. So it's the players as well. A manager, I mean, they pick the team and they go and do it, but it's the same things that keep happening time after time after time with Rangers. But it's early in the season. We know there's going to be players arriving. We know there's going to be players going out. But the alarming thing for me would be that he's calling them out so early on.
For him to do that first game of the season, you know, he sees them every day in training. He must think they're rank rotten. He must do, because why wouldn't there be a bit more balance there? You know, I don't know what's going on at the training. I don't know. But for a manager, when have you ever seen a manager come out and fillet the team? And we all think he's right, by the way. But when have you ever seen a manager do that? First game of the season. I said before, everybody has a good pre-season. Everybody's happy in pre-season. Everybody tells you it's been wonderful. Now the season has started. He has to win. But that was extreme.
Yeah, it is extreme. But when you look at, successful managers will call people out at any time. It doesn't matter. By the way, he could have been calling people out in training during the week. We don't know. We're not there to see it. He has to be ruthless. He has to be ruthless. As I said, there's been far too many players ran all of the top managers at this football club.
And he's talking about
I don't know. He singled out one or two players in terms of they done okay, but there was a load of them there today that were miles off it, and it's the same thing again. It's attitude.
It's always a commitment, isn't it? You can say you want to play out, and we're going to play this style, and we're going to dominate the game, and it's great, and you can do your shape and your patterns of play and training, and it all goes great. But when you come into the game, you have to be willing to run. You need to make runs off the ball. You need to play with speed and suffocate teams. If you look at Motherwell and how they played today, how they set up against Motherwell in years gone by, and teams like Motherwell that have sat in and made it, frustrated Rangers and put the onus on them to break them down, and everybody's saying but that's tough to play against because you need to find that way and to break them down, and they defend for their lives and they throw everything at it. What would you rather play against? You'd rather play against a team that sits back and allows you possession in front? You need to find that breakthrough, or a team that wants to play from the goalkeeper through to the centre backs, through the midfield and up to the forward line and give you an opportunity to win the ball. Rangers didn't win enough of the balls when it played into midfield. It was like Motherwell could play through them because at times the reaction to then go and press the next one was far too slow. And you can speak about this is how we want to play when we have the ball, and that's great, which for me was still too slow and too safe for a lot of players. But when you don't have it, that should be a dream for a team like Rangers at the minute, to say we're going to camp on your box and we're going to force you into we're going to allow you to have the ball to a certain point. We're going to take it off you and we're going to score goals. That didn't happen today.
That would be we've spoken, and everybody basically in the build up to the start of this season would be, how's Russell Martin's team going to break the opposition down? I didn't need to see it today because there was nowhere near an area to. And the thing is, anybody looking at it right now will say, we can run off the back of Rangers. We can cause them problems.
Balance on the left as well. Max Aarons playing left back, always coming inside. And with respect to him, always predictable. Jefty sat on the bench. I think Russell Martin was critical of him in the week. Looks like Yilmaz is away. He's got a lot of work to do. Chris has tipped him for the title as well.
Certainly does.
Like you say, a few areas in the pitch that he's going to have to address, but they didn't look like scoring today from open play. And is that a big concern? I know you've touched on it. If the bids come in for Dessers, we don't know what's happening with Igaman. Danilo's essentially their only centre forward. Is Mikey Moore going to play as a centre forward?
I'm in danger of repeating myself. Rangers need to get forwards into the football club. There is no doubt about it. Czerny leaving is a massive blow for them. Dessers looks as if he's going to move on. Look, Dessers, Czerny and Igaman, that's 34 goals from Rangers now. So they need to find someone who's going to add goals.
Right, well, we can hear from the Rangers captain and the goal scorer today, James Tavernier, is with Luke.
James, that game started so well for Rangers. Why didn't it end that way?
Obviously the first 45 we were obviously going in half time 1-0 up. We knew that we had to go up the gears and work on things in the second half, and we didn't do that. We didn't go and improve our first half, which we wanted to do. That's obviously something that we'll have to look back on going back in tomorrow. But it has to be better than that.
The manager was in here and he didn't hold back. He said that some of the players, maybe there was an ego, they reverted to type, and he generally wasn't happy. As that message got across to the players?
Yeah, and none of us are happy in there with the performance that we put in. But obviously it's a long season, and you don't want to start the season off like this, but it's obviously done now. And now we need to really focus on Tuesday and really work out what needs to be done within this team. Obviously it's a new team, but we can't waste any chances.
Why do you think that happened then? Why do you think, maybe as in the manager's words, players reverted to type?
Obviously going to have to look back on it. It's still really raw and fresh, so we're going to obviously look back on it tomorrow, and then we'll get into details of what needs to be better. And yeah, that's all. I have to look back on it.
From you as a captain's point of view, do you need to get across to some of the new guys and even the players that have been here before about the standards that need to be set for the season ahead?
Yeah, and it's clear and simple. This club want to win trophies. The fans want to win trophies. So, you know, performances like this, you know, it's not acceptable for us as a team. The standards that we want to set ourselves. You know, the first half, we can take a little bit of a positive, but we knew that we had to step it up, and we didn't do that. So that's obviously an area where we need to look at.
Did that surprise you then, given what you're saying about the first half, that the second half went the other way?
Yeah, because obviously in previous games we maybe started a little bit slow in first half, and second half we've improved in the second half, but we didn't do that this time. So yeah, we need to look at that.
Is that as much about mentality then than ability on the field?
Yeah, it's everything. You know, the application, the mentality, us as players. You know, first and foremost about, you know, working harder, and we need to work harder back in the training field, listen to what the gaffer wants us to do and apply that.
With huge games in Europe to come and in the league, is that good that you have a game so soon to put it right?
Yeah, and like I said, we're in tomorrow, so we'll be working really hard on what we need to fix, and then obviously put this behind us and focus on Tuesday.
Appreciate your time.
Cheers, thank you.
Yeah, he's been at the club a decade now, James Tavernier. He is the captain. He always speaks really well, I think, and says the right things when he has to front up to these interviews. How much responsibility, though, does he need to take to ensure that it doesn't drop off in games like it did today?
Of course he has to take responsibility, but God almighty, how many times have we seen that interview over the piece with James Tavernier? We have to do better, we have to go back to the training ground, we have to work harder. That's the most damning thing, which, you know, there's your captain saying his team didn't work hard enough. That is unforgivable. That's first game of the season.
Yeah, and it's something that Russell Martin would look to his captain to drive on the field.
100%. You know,
Did you see that?
No. I mean, I think when you look at Rangers' performance, especially second half, you know, even majority of the first half as well, I thought Motherwell were in control of the game. You know, it didn't look. I mean, I know Rangers' possession stat, but you can mess about with the ball back in your 18-yard box and look good and things like that. We weren't really threatening Motherwell, and as I said, Motherwell were the team, the longer the game went on, looked as if they were going to win it. I mean, we sat here and said, if Motherwell get a goal, there's a right good chance they can go and win this game, because they looked fitter, they looked stronger. And for me, as Kris said, that's a damning assessment of a team in the first day of the season. You know, you say it's a new team. 4 new players were in it. So a lot of players that have been here that have failed over this football club for a number of years. And I'm sure Russell Martin won't want that to continue. I mean, he has already had a pop tonight. There will still be a lot of changes between between now and the end of the transfer window. But again, you're looking at your top goal scorer is potentially going out the door, where it's other ones Rangers need to get out the door. Cyriel Dessers isn't the problem for Rangers. He hasn't been a problem for Rangers, and he's the one right now that's not playing.
The problem Russell's going to have now, though, is because of the thing about drop their egos. Players have to drop their egos. Everybody now in the country's going to be pointing fingers and having their say on who they think has the egos.
You'll find out. You'll find out, because if they don't put in the performance levels or they're not in the team, you'll find out who the ones who he's speaking to. So it's a challenge to the players, and one that they have to step up and take.